Imagine trusting a man so much you marry him, and then the whole internet watches your marriage fall apart in real time. This is the story of a woman who went viral, not for love, but for heartbreak, betrayal, and a public meltdown that cost her everything. Over the past few days, a woman known online as Kiki, the real Mrs. Jones, has been trending across TikTok. She's a single mother from Texas, and up until recently, she was newly married, roughly 7 to 8 months in. Both she and her husband are on the heavier side, and from the outside looking in, their marriage initially appeared joyful. They traveled, they cruised, they laughed. Life seemed good, until signs of trouble surfaced. During a cruise, Kiki uploaded a video with the caption, "The day I realized my husband doesn't want me." In the clip, she tries to engage with him, kissing him, talking to him, but he looks distant and uninterested. Now, in fairness, we don't know exactly what went down. Some men genuinely get camera shy or just want to relax without being filmed. She is a content creator, and as someone who also creates content, I get it. Sometimes you just don't want a lens in your face on vacation. But Kiki claimed it wasn't just the camera. She said he was looking at other women and seemed embarrassed to be seen with her. Naturally, women in the comments rallied behind her. One comment read, "The girls he's staring at wouldn't even give him attention anyway." Someone else shared, "When my husband said I laughed too loud, I knew we were done. My happiness bothered him." It didn't take long before more details started emerging, and things got messy fast. Soon, allegations surfaced that Kiki's husband had been cheating, not with a stranger, but with her best friend. Reportedly, the affair went on for weeks before Kiki found out. People online pointed out what many couples ignore. Sometimes friends show a little too much interest in your partner, and if you overlook it, you risk getting blindsided. One user joked that if she were Kiki's sister, she'd ask why she was shedding tears over a grown man wearing cartoon-printed outfits on vacation. According to Kiki, after discovering the affair, she learned her husband had already filed for divorce. Devastated, she spiraled emotionally, posting online while drinking and even putting on her wedding dress in a moment of heartbreak. The situation escalated so intensely that Child Protective Services ended up getting involved, and she temporarily lost custody of her children. It's important to note, those children were hers, not his. The internet watched a real-life emotional breakdown unfold, raw, painful, and public. And through tears and confusion, Kiki documented her hurt, revealing just how deeply betrayal can shake someone's life and stability.
Kiki Jones, laughing at Kiki Jones. Now, I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. If you don't know what's going on, it's this story about Kiki Jones, who lost her husband to her best friend, who he was sleeping with for weeks behind her back. And you know what's crazy? A lot of y'all friends like y'all man and y'all act like y'all don't peep it. I don't know if it's because you're scared of your friend or what, but you be letting your homegirl hug your man and call your man bruh and all that. I'm telling you, get caught slipping if you want to. If Kiki was my sister, I'd ask her, why the hell you crying over a man who grown as hell wearing two-piece Tom and Jerry fits out of...
Kiki later shared that she never went searching for a relationship. In fact, she said she had already been through enough pain in her life. According to her, this man simply showed up when she wasn't looking, and after years of being mistreated by others, she truly believed he was a blessing. She said she prayed and told God, "He has to be the one, because I wasn't even trying to find anybody." In her mind, this marriage felt like divine timing. It felt like proof that after heartbreak and hardship, the universe had finally decided to give her peace. When someone comes into your life during a season when you least expect it, especially after you've been surviving more than living, it's easy to believe they're meant to stay. She also opened up about her past, explaining that she had already been through heartbreak before. The father of her children walked out, and she raised her kids on her own with the help of her grandmother. Her story echoed one so many single mothers know well, trying to hold everything together while juggling exhaustion, responsibility, and hope. There is a certain kind of strength you build when you don't have a choice, when life forces you to be both the protector and the provider. And for women like Kiki, that hope for a partner isn't just about romance, it's about imagining a softer life. A life where someone finally says, "You don't have to do it all alone anymore." So when she believed she found that comfort, she held on to it tightly. She trusted. She let go of some of her guard. She allowed herself to imagine a future with security, companionship, and love that didn't leave. And in a world where so many women fight every day to be both strong and gentle, there was something powerful about seeing her vulnerable enough to hope again. That vulnerability is why so many people felt drawn to her. Because of that openness and pain, the public rallied behind her. Social media overwhelmingly turned against her ex-husband, siding with Kiki and showing her sympathy. Clips spread everywhere. Creators discussed her story and support poured in. It wasn't just about the breakup. It was the familiarity of her struggle. People saw themselves, their sisters, their mothers, their friends in her tears. They saw the heartbreak that happens when someone gives love honestly and receives disappointment in return. The internet didn't just see a viral moment. It saw a woman trying to hold herself together while her world fell apart. And as the conversations grew, the girl, "You deserve better," comments, the prayers, the stories from other single moms, the advice threads, the emotional duets, she felt compelled to keep sharing. Eventually, she chose to speak openly about what led to their final breakup. Walking viewers through the day everything fell apart. She described confusion turning into suspicion, and suspicion turning into devastation. She described moments where silence felt louder than words and glances carried meanings she wasn't ready to face. And in real time, strangers on the internet sat with her grief. But beyond the viral clips and reactions, what really touched people was something deeper: the emotional honesty. We live in a digital world where vulnerability is often polished, edited, or masked with filters. Kiki didn't do that. She cried openly. She shook. She spoke without rehearsing. And whether people agreed with everything she did or not, they recognized raw humanity in her. Her story became more than gossip. It became a mirror reflecting uncomfortable truths. How many people rush into love hoping it will heal wounds instead of tending to themselves first? How many women carry emotional scars silently until they rupture? How many people ignore red flags because the loneliness feels heavier than the risk? How many hearts search for safety in someone else before building it within themselves? Kiki's tears weren't just about betrayal. They were about a lifetime of feeling like she finally had her moment of happiness, only for it to crumble. When a person who already feels fragile believes they've found their safe place, losing it hurts in a way few things can. Her pain reminded viewers that healing isn't linear. You don't always cry politely or break down quietly or process heartbreak in perfect emotional order. Sometimes healing looks messy, like shaky voices, impulsive confessions, old wounds resurfacing, sleepless nights, and emotional spirals broadcast to an audience that never asked to witness it, but suddenly can't look away. And that brings us to another layer of her story: the complexity of grieving in public. Social media can be a lifeline, but it can also become a stage where heartbreak turns into performance without meaning to. Kiki didn't simply lose a spouse, she lost privacy. She lost control of the narrative. She lost the ability to break in silence. And maybe that's why so many people defended her. Not because they thought she was perfect, but because they recognized the courage and vulnerability in letting the world see you at your lowest. In her breakdown, people saw something universal. Sometimes we fall apart in front of the same world we've tried so hard to prove ourselves to. Kiki's story also sparked conversations about emotional health, accountability, and timing in relationships. Many supporters expressed hope that she'll heal, grow, and one day attract love that feels stable and gentle, the kind she has long deserved. Others emphasized the importance of addressing deep emotional wounds before entering a new relationship, so the next chapter doesn't repeat the last. Healing isn't about blame, it's about understanding. Healing isn't linear. It loops, it stumbles, it rises. Healing doesn't always begin after heartbreak. Sometimes heartbreak is what finally starts the healing. And while her story is still unfolding, there's a lesson threaded throughout her experience. When life feels like it's falling apart, sometimes it's rearranging itself so you can rebuild stronger. Sometimes losing what hurts makes room for what can heal. And sometimes the moment you're forced to face your pain is the moment you finally begin to transform. For now, the world watches, comments, comforts, judges, debates, the way the internet always does. But beyond all the noise, the truth remains simple. She loved. She hoped. She got hurt. And now she's trying, publicly, imperfectly, vulnerably, to find her way back to herself.
And I told him, I said, you need to leave. You need to leave because you know how I can get. Because like I said, it's not my first time crashing out. I said, you need to leave. You know how I can get. Anyways, I said, you need to leave. You know how I can get. So he did leave. But y'all, he tried to take my car. I said, no. You take your truck. His truck ain't got no AC. You take your truck. All right. He gonna be gone all night. You should be all right. Go down the street, get you something to eat. I drive to get me something to eat. I got that thing on me. I come back. Now, when I get to this part of the crash out, I ain't gonna say too much because I still a CPS case open, and I don't need this. I just want my babies, right? But I come back. This nigga, y'all, and not only is he in the house, he washing and drying clothes. It smells fresh in the house. I'm pissed. I don't want to smell no freshness, no Tide detergent in the house. And not only is he back, he brought his ex-wife's little son. No, his ex-wife godson. They had a godson together before the marriage. He brought him back, and he's on the table eating my cupcake. My cupcake. My Hershey's cupcake, y'all. That's the new brand. It's new. Hershey's just did a collab with Debbie Snacks. It was only 2 in a pack. He only ate one because when I started crashing out, that cupcake flew. Okay, I don't want to say too much. I said, oh, you want to play? Oh, you want to play? I grabbed the sugar. I ran outside. I put it all in that tank. Man, God, please, man, please. I'm so sorry. Maybe I shouldn't be admitting this. God, why did I get? Oh, okay, whatever, right? I came back. He got the top. He locked me out the house. So guess what? I started beating the windows. I'm not realizing the kid, and y'all, I'm losing my mind. Some say go to that damn window by the allegedly sugar in the tank. Allegedly, I don't know. I opened the window, y'all. The window. I don't know why that window was unlocked. I think I always unlock that window just in case, cause like I said, it's not my first time crashing out, and he liked the lock top. He liked the lock house. So I think probably 6 months ago I unlocked that window. I come through the window. I got the phone. I got something in my hand. I got something allegedly in my hand. He looking at me. He calling 911. I'm gonna tell you about the CPS. I come through the window like a Spider-Man. You wanna play with me? You wanna lock me out my own house? I know that the little boy he was terrible. I ain't gonna lie, cause he started calling 911, and that is how CPS got involved. Now, whoever sit around and wait on the cops is crazy. It's crazy. I didn't wait on no cops.
Kiki eventually opened up about her own struggles. She made it clear she wasn't hiding anything about her behavior or mental state. She explained that she's been creating content for a while. But things only went viral when she was in an emotional spiral. In her words, she was hurting, drinking, overwhelmed, and lost control. She admitted she had reached a breaking point, especially after losing temporary custody of her children. She reminded viewers that many longtime followers already knew she sometimes crashes out when life becomes too heavy. And she promised to seek real mental health support. She even told her audience she'd document her healing journey the same way she documents everything else, openly and honestly. What stood out was her self-awareness. She said she plans to go to therapy, get help, and let people see her working toward better mental well-being, not just reacting in pain online. From an outside perspective, this context matters. We still don't know the ex-husband's side of the story. We only see her emotional reaction and the accusations. She claims infidelity. He hasn't publicly confirmed or denied. Online, she understandably has supporters offering sympathy and comfort, but there's a bigger picture here worth acknowledging. Kiki has expressed that she struggles with emotional regulation, and she's shown impulsive behavior before, even joking that this happens sometimes. This isn't about judging her. It's about recognizing the complexity. It's possible her husband felt overwhelmed or embarrassed by public outbursts, constant filming, or instability. Emotional distress, especially shown publicly, can put pressure on relationships. None of this excuses betrayal if cheating occurred, but it does introduce another layer. Relationships can fracture not only from wrongdoing, but from emotional strain, lack of accountability, or unresolved trauma. Sometimes people expect a partner to absorb their pain, heal their wounds, or tolerate their chaos, and that's a lot for any partner to carry. Ideally, emotional healing begins before entering a new relationship, not after it breaks down. Healthy relationships require two emotionally stable people. When one person is hurting deeply, a partner can support, but not fix them. Men, too, often try to communicate when they're overwhelmed. but those conversations can get dismissed or minimized. Change requires real effort, not just agreement in the moment. At the end of the day, it's a heartbreaking situation on both sides. She's hurting, she's seeking help, and she's living her pain out loud. But it's also a reminder that healing, accountability, and personal growth have to start internally, long before relying on someone else to manage our emotional storms. In relationships, compromise matters. If a woman tells a man certain behavior bothers her and he's serious about her, most men will genuinely try to adjust. But there are times when a woman may agree to change something too, and then continues doing the same thing anyway. When that happens repeatedly, it puts a man in a difficult position: stay and tolerate it, or walk away. And men who feel they still have options will often choose to leave rather than remain in a situation that feels unhealthy. Now, if everything Kiki claims about her ex-husband is true, then yes, what happened to her is painful and unfair. But her experience doesn't erase the fact that her own behavior also played a role in how things unfolded. She admitted herself that she spirals emotionally, and entering a relationship without working through those struggles first can create instability. She said she wasn't even searching for love, he just appeared. But here's the reality: when you're actively working on becoming your best self, the people you attract are usually healthier and more compatible. If someone unstable or unprepared for commitment shows up, it often reflects where you are in your personal growth, too, not just where they are. In other words, if you haven't grown yet, you tend to attract partners who match that unhealed version of you. And you can't expect life, or God, to send a fully grounded, emotionally strong partner if you're not on that same level yet. We attract what we are, not what we wish for. Until healing and accountability happen, the same patterns keep repeating. We say we want stability, but stability requires discipline. We say we want loyalty, but loyalty often demands emotional maturity. We dream of peace, yet hold habits rooted in chaos. Relationships don't magically elevate us. They expose us. They don't turn wounds into wisdom. They reveal the wounds we've been ignoring. And love, real love, isn't just romance. It's responsibility. People often talk about wanting a partner who matches their energy, but that phrase carries weight. The energy you carry, whether grounded or broken, calm or desperate, healed or hurting, becomes a magnet. If insecurity is loudest in your heart, it will call to someone with similar fractures. If abandonment shapes your fears, you may find yourself drawn to someone who reinforces the very loneliness you're trying to escape. We don't just fall in love with people. Sometimes we fall into patterns disguised as people. And this isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Pain doesn't make you unworthy of love, and trauma doesn't disqualify you from companionship. But unprocessed pain can create relationship patterns that look like love but feel like survival. And two people trying to heal wounds they never examined often end up building a house on emotional cracks. It might stand for a season, but storms will come, and weak foundations eventually shift. Think about it. If your self-worth hasn't been tended to, you might cling to the first person who shows attention instead of the person who shows consistency. If loneliness is driving your decisions, urgency replaces discernment. If your identity is tied to being chosen, you'll prioritize being loved over being respected. And if you fear abandonment, you might treat toxicity as loyalty simply because someone stays, even if staying hurts. Healing changes what you tolerate. Growth changes what you chase. Accountability changes what you attract. Some people confuse struggle with depth, chaos with passion, brokenness with intensity. They believe relationships should feel like fighting for breath, like proving, pleading, performing. But love isn't supposed to drown you. It's supposed to hold you. Real love encourages your growth, not your collapse. It's not afraid of quiet moments or honest conversations. It doesn't crumble in the face of vulnerability. It expands within it. And yet, so many people move from heartbreak straight into another heart without ever stopping to rest, reflect, or rebuild. They try to outrun their pain by running into someone else, hoping presence will replace healing. But unhealed wounds follow you. They echo in your reactions, your triggers, your insecurities, your silence, and your outbursts. Without time for repair, we don't start new chapters. We copy and paste old ones. But here's the thing. Doing the internal work isn't a punishment. It's a liberation. It's reclaiming your emotional power. It's learning to love yourself so deeply that you don't confuse attachment for affection. It's developing the strength to walk away from what scratches your soul instead of clinging to it because it feels familiar. Healing looks different for everyone. Sometimes it's therapy and reflection. Sometimes it's prayer and surrender. Sometimes it's journaling, solitude, accountability, or finally telling the truth about the pain you pretended didn't hurt. Healing asks us to sit with discomfort rather than bury it, to acknowledge patterns instead of disguising them as bad luck, to say, I played a part in this too, not to shame ourselves, but to free ourselves. There's a quiet power in becoming the person you needed when you were hurting, not for someone else, but for yourself. Because when you grow, your standards mature too. You stop choosing people who feed your fears and start choosing people who feed your peace. You stop trying to be chosen and begin choosing with clarity. You don't seek someone to save you. You build a life so steady that partnership becomes a bonus, not a lifeline. That's the lesson here. Not just for Kiki, but for anyone, do the internal work first. So the love you choose and the love you receive is built on stability, not survival or chaos. It's a truth life eventually teaches all of us. You cannot rush healing and expect peace. You cannot avoid growth and still demand healthy love. You cannot bypass accountability and expect emotional maturity in your relationships. When you heal, you stop romanticizing pain. When you grow, you stop tolerating what once broke you. When you learn yourself, you choose differently. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Love isn't just about finding someone who stays. It's about becoming someone who can receive and protect what's healthy. It's about learning to give love freely without losing yourself, and learning to walk away bravely when love no longer honors your spirit. The right person won't complete you. They will complement a version of you that already knows its worth. Real partnership is not two wounded hearts clinging to each other hoping not to fall apart. It is two whole souls walking side by side, choosing peace, practicing communication, and building a life deliberately, not emotionally. So yes, let heartbreak teach you. Let betrayal humble you. Let grief soften you, not harden you. But most importantly, let healing prepare you. Because when you grow into the version of yourself you're meant to be, love shifts. Who you choose shifts. What you accept shifts. What you hold on to shifts. And suddenly you stop surviving love and start experiencing it.